Hey there, my friend Perry Tinsley here. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like life was so full of obstacles and they're like holding you back? You're always kind of like, wow, I just wish things would just settle down a bit. And they might be just getting in the way of your health and fitness goals. Well, I'm going to share some stories with you today, but I think it's time to just shift your perspective. And I'm going to share a big perspective shift that I had because a lot of times we try to control the things that that aren't in our control. And so hopefully this will overcome any obstacle, any limitation that you might have. But before we get into all this stuff, thank you so much for being a part of the Power Blast podcast, where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours and reclaim your power. And I want to make sure I let you know that my calendar is wide open for podcast listeners over at talktoperry.com, because I find it's all about not only keeping your energy high so you can reach your goals, but to be able to have somebody give an outside perspective to help point you in the best direction possible, so where you're going to get the biggest results from. And I want to help you recharge that mental and physical battery of yours so that you can reclaim your power. We do that in 15 minutes. It's over at talktoperry.com. So I had this epiphany the other day. No, wait a minute. It wasn't even the other day. I wrote a post about it the other day, but the epiphany happened a while back. It was literally like 20 years ago. So, okay, we're going in the Wayback Machine here. It was at a point after I had lost my first wife to a tragic car accident. And I found myself, and it wasn't like weeks later, but, a little bit of time, maybe a few months, where I was at this crossroad. And I began to think, because I was kind of like, you know what? You've been getting in shape. You've kind of been building momentum, Perry, and then life gave you a sucker punch and took you out of your game. Nobody blame you, being depressed, being bummed, being, just going a totally different route. And that's where I was feeling. I was feeling pulled that way. And actually, it was just some old programming, some old mindset stuff that I feel like was just kind of, it was overcoming me. But then I stepped back and I said, you know what, you've come so far, Perry. And yes, you've gone through a very tragic, shocking, shock to the system sort of event. And a lot of times for people that causes a big shift in everything in their life, is when that instant shock happens. But I stepped back. I don't know if this was a logical way of looking at it or what it was, but I'm like, what can I control when life seems so out of control? Now, yeah, mine was a big event, but think about that in your current circumstance. Are you looking at your job, or you're overwhelmed of your to-do list, or you're overwhelmed of all the things that you're responsible for, or just one more thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I'm like feeling like a 6-year-old smartphone. 0% battery life is coming on. I'm got 2% warning left on it, and I have no charger in sight. Are you feeling that way? Well, that's kind of where I was at. It was like I was just feeling this overwhelm. But I was feeling the overwhelm for my circumstance, but you might be feeling overwhelmed in a different way. So I'm stepping back and saying, what do I have control over? Because a lot of times people just kind of just mindlessly ricochet from thing to thing to thing, and just claim I'm too busy. I can't do this. I'm too stressed. I'm too burned out, whatever it is. No time. Don't even think of that. Yeah, I want to get some results. I want to do these things, but hey, you don't know my life, Perry. But let's allocate the energy in a different way, okay? That's where I kind of shifted, and that's why I'm wanting to share this with you, because when I looked at it, it's like, am I putting my energy into the limitations and the excuses and all of these current circumstance, or can I put in the energy into the things that I can control, which is my mindset, my health, and my fitness? So I hope this helps you on your journey. And if something resonates with you that I share in this podcast today, please be sure to share it with somebody that you know could benefit. because you've got to embrace the uncontrollable. I know a lot of us are like, no, it's got a stranglehold on me. Well, there's aspects of our life that we just cannot control. We can't change. Genetics, past choices, other people's actions. That's just a few examples. And while we can't do those things, we can certainly use those to inform our future decisions. But so many people, and you've got to catch yourself on this. And that's what I was doing. I was becoming aware because I had these goals and these dreams that I wanted to accomplish, yet it always seemed to be something. And when it always seemed to be something, that was a story that I was telling myself. I kept telling myself, it always seems to be something. Why me? And then I flipped that story. I'm like, does that need to be that way? So instead of dwelling on the limitations, I'm looking at them as opportunities. I'm like, okay, these things are coming up. This is another way to navigate around some obstacles, around some roadblocks, whatever they are. And these are opportunities for growth. Now, are they comfortable opportunities? Maybe not all the time, right? But, genetics, whatever it is, we're growing with that. But we can work with those things, past choices. We can't go back and change the past, but we can learn from them, grow, move forward. Other people's actions, a lot of times we'll get ticked off by other people doing things, and we take that on. And that's really on them. If we take it on, we got to take ownership of that. Another thing I think of that people do, traffic and their commute. A lot of times people just cut it really close to leave the house, and then they want to gripe and complain about the traffic and all the things. When it really boiled down to the choices that you made, it's not the traffic's fault. It's not, but think about it. We got construction season coming up. Of course, it's like easy target to complain about, right? Social media comparison is another big one. And the interesting with comparison stuff, that might create the little gossip train on that, but a lot of times we just internalize those things. We create judgment, not only judgment for maybe what we're seeing, but judgment on ourselves. Feeling inadequate, feeling envious, coming up with a story of why somebody did this, whatever. And rarely does it ever match up, but we create these stories in our head, unrealistic versions, that we're seeing of people on there. And we're internalizing that and comparing ourselves to that. Work-related stress, oh my gosh, whether it's demanding boss or, you're working with a kind of a wacky coworker, that's source of stress, and while we can't control those things, there are things that we can do to control our own selves. It's just a lot of times we give in to that stuff. Right? We don't turn to gratitude and manifestation and, affirmations and things that or things that we're like, hey, I'm going to look to advance my career and keep focusing on my own goals. We're giving the energy to external factors. A lot of times people do that with the global and political stuff, that's going on. Whatever the side you're on, you got to rally for that side and intentionally be upset at whatever the opposition of something in your mind has said, and come up with a rationalization for it. And we will put our energy into this stuff. It's not within our control. Yeah, we can control the vote and stuff like that and do little rallies and whatever. But I'm just talking about within yourself, how you react to things. But I think a lot of us, we work really hard to be offended with that. Opinions and criticisms. That's another one. Instead of the criticisms, it's kind of like there can be some lessons in that to help you focus on your own growth. And I get it. Somebody criticizes, says something, you're wanting to put up the punching bags like, wait, hey, I'm defending this and whatever. But it's recognizing that you can't please everybody. Not everybody tunes into this podcast, and some people don't like it. That's fine. But it's kind of looking at just taking an objective look at those things. What are the things? These are out of my control. Yet I'm giving them all my time, all my energy, all my focus. No wonder it seems really like it's spinning out of control for me, because I'm putting all my energy into the out of control stuff. So there are many aspects of life that you can control. And I think a lot of times people know it's going to maybe take a little bit of time and effort. And we've gotten so good at putting our energy and our focus into the out of control stuff, or things that are out of our control, that it's really easy that when there is something within our control, we'll use the words "yeah, but," and then we give the energy to the other thing, or because it's become habit. We've gotten really good at it. So I mean, become aware of those things. Because when you have a clear, understandable, an understanding of what's within your control and what's without your, out of your control, there is that gap that sometimes happens. And I'm going to share some things with you that are going to seem like I already know that. Those are four. I already know that. 4 dangerous words. I had to count them on my fingers. Sometimes people, I know that already. This knowing and doing gap. And I'm going to tell you what, before I share these with you, I do want to tell you, I will help you with that knowing, doing gap. Jump on my calendar, talktoperry.com. I want to hear the goals that you're working through, struggles that you have, what's become that energy drain for you, and help you realize that there are things that are totally within your control. And we can talk about these things that are maybe you've been giving a lot of time and energy to, that you can give yourself permission to let go or reframe, to give yourself that space and that energy to reach the goals that you want. And within 15 minutes of us talking together, I'll give you the best direction for you, where you're going to get the biggest results from. I'll give you 3 strategies so you can reclaim your energy, really boost your energy, reclaim your time, and really take control and make you the priority. In a non-selfish way, but it is kind of selfish, I guess. But I often ask, how would your life look different if you took action, you took control, and felt that control every single day? How would that feel? Talktoperry.com is where my calendar is at. I'm looking all over as if, but just collecting my thoughts here. But here's a few areas that you have total control. And this is where I was at. I'm like, what can out of my control, within my control. And then my control is my mindset, my reactions to things, my health, my fitness, the things I want to do to reach my goals. And the current circumstance, I have to look at it as zero circumstance stuff. I want to progress on my health and fitness journey. I want to progress on my fitness goals, or not on my fitness goals, but my career goals, relationship goals, etc. So 1, nutrition. Easy peasy. I mean, you get a simple eating plan that is like lean proteins, vegetables, fruit, healthy fats. You got it. But be aware of your inner talk right now. Are you saying, all right, I know that already? Or is there that gap of, I know this, but I'm not doing it? Knowing, doing gap. Pay attention to that. Exercise. Find something you enjoy, something that you can do. For me, I started out with like 20, 25 minutes a day. In the beginning, it's more important to develop the habits than it is to see the results. But if you are a person who exercises, great. Keep it going. Maybe mix it up. Maybe challenge yourself. But you do have control over that. Consistency is key. Okay? It's the inner chatter that's keeping you from doing it. Sleep is another one. Prioritizing sleep. The mental health. Look at what's going into your mind. Are you watching negative news all the time? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Are there things that can fuel up your mindset, boost your confidence, help you expand on a new skill? Stuff for your mental well-being. Other things that you can do in that category: journaling, meditating, even talking with a coach, or having somebody, even a therapist can be somebody that you can talk to. Building that resilient mindset is huge, crucial for overcoming, and recognizing when there's the obstacle or there's a current circumstance and you're like, this is where it's at, but I'm still going after my goals. The goal never changes. If I've got a limitation, like when I think about, so I lost my wife, then shortly after I've got ulcerative colitis, a digestive disorder or disease. then I get this degenerative disc that for a long time I could barely walk. And I'm like, minor setbacks. My goal is still to do these things. I still respected the obstacle, but I didn't let it define me and hold me back. I just slowed down the progress a little bit. So I just reframed the story about it. I'm like, I'm still going to go after that. So by acknowledging these things, and hopefully these are helpful for you. You probably have some other things that popped in your mind, but it's that difference of what we can control and what's really without it's not within our own control. But if you can have a healthier mindset and take steps in your fitness and take steps in your nutrition. And I'm not talking about just the foods you're eating. I'm talking about what's going in, what you're fueling your brain with as far as your mindset, what you're reading, what you're listening to, and embracing your unique qualities, learning from the past choices, focusing on those aspects of your life that you can control. You are going to be you're going to be soaring toward your goals, especially when you give up those things as saying, either your current circumstance or things that are out of your control. You can do that. So just know, I'll just recap here that you can choose to use your power and take control, or you can let the external things, the things that are out of your control, the excuses, defending your excuses, defending your limitations, comparison, all that draining your power and control you. It's really deciding and committing to yourself and your goals and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. And I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those in the comments below. I do promise to respond to those. And I just wanted to let you know that you absolutely rock. I'm so honored that you come on here every week, or maybe it's this first time. Welcome to you. Hope you continue on. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.